forget to subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into this video. We are going to be talking about the Minnesota Vikings going against the Steelers this upcoming Sunday, right? And I think this is going to be a pretty good game. Of course, you got Aaron Rodgers. You got their great offensive and defensive coordinator, their head coach. Overall, they're a good organization. I think they have some good pieces. You've seen what they did last year. And with this roster, I do believe that they are a pretty talented team. Knowing that, this will be the second game without their starting quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, for the Vikings. And they will be going in with Carson Wentz and Max Brosner. I do think Carson Wentz will take the starting spot. I don't know about any official updates about that, but I will assume, based off the last game, Carson Wentz will have to probably start. But Kevin O'Connell is a good offensive coordinator, so we'll see what he got. And if you didn't know, Jordan Addison was suspended for I think some drug-related issues. I'm not too clear on that, but I do believe it was drug-related issues. I think he violated their substance abuse policy. Yeah, and if you want some more information, I do urge you guys to go check that out on Google. It doesn't take too much but a Google search. But this will be his first game back this season. The Vikings are 2-1 now. I do believe this is a great time for him to come back. He wasn't injured, so I wouldn't be surprised if he was working out with the team during practices and whatnot. So hopefully Carson Wentz have around a week or two of experience working with Addison. If not, I don't know how the game suspensions work. I believe it is only for the games itself. But a lot of these teams do a lot of stuff off the book. You can look at the Clippers and the Kawhi Leonard situation that is going on currently in the NBA world right now. But I do think this is an overall positive. I've been saying that for the last couple of games, but seeing that J.J. McCarthy's out, you have Carson Wentz, who wasn't here to start the season off with. I believe it can overall only be good. Maybe it messed up some chemistry, but hopefully not. I don't want to, put too much pressure on him. And I only say that is because, if you really look at it, right, I know this image is kind of blurry, but J.J. McCarthy, his games weren't particularly good. But, let's look at that first week. He went 13 for 20, completed 13 of his passes, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns, interception. We know how that story went. That was not the case going into the fourth quarter. Going into the fourth quarter, they were down. He came back and managed to turn it back up. Now going into week 2, he did 11 for 21, right? He did complete less of his passes for 158 yards and 2 interceptions. I only point these out is because I do believe that J.J. McCarthy is a rookie, and not alone, he was missing one of his cornerback or starting wide receivers. This just shows you that what Kevin O'Connell was able to do with J.J. McCarthy, showing the lack of talent and depth that he had. And then again, I also bring up J.J. McCarthy's win-loss record. I know I've been talking about it, but I just want to show you guys one more time. J.J. McCarthy is 27-1 as a starter at Michigan. He is currently 1-1 in the NFL, right? So that is 28-2. Then J.J. McCarthy's career 27-1, and then again right here, J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy's record as a starting high school quarterback was 34-2, 26-2 record at Academy, and 8-0 at IMG. So you add that 2, 1, that's 3, 4 losses, right? 28 plus 34. What's that? 28 plus that's 50, 60 something wins. Obviously, just again, I'm bringing up these stats is that Kevin O'Connell have talent to work with. So that also leads into my point about Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz has a career one-loss tie record of 51-47 in the NFL, right? I do believe Carson Wentz, he did have a troubled NFL career, but that does not really accurately tell the career path that he went down. And we're going to get into his NFL career a little bit more, but like look at the second line. His college career, he was 20-3, right? Also played at North Dakota State. I believe that is some correlation, right? And I do believe like correlations like that, like also with Max Brosmer, Kevin O'Connell finding locally talented kids, not kids, but NFL players. And it really does really adds to the locker room, the culture. But to see that he went 20-3 in college, but you gotta know when Carson Wentz was with the Eagles, he had a few good seasons. I believe his rookie season wasn't too hot, but he had a few solid years. Even the year that he helped get his team to the Super Bowl. And he has a pretty good college career. I know that you just look like the last couple of seasons with Washington, Kansas City, and whatnot. Those doesn't really accurately tell his career and his trajectory. I urge you guys to do a lot more research on Carson Wentz. He is a pretty good quarterback, and I do believe that he proved that last game. Now, he does have his downsides and struggles, but I do believe this team is ultimately fit for about any quarterback. I mean, they are talented across the board at offensive line. Christian Darrisaw, you got our tight ends, and Oliver and Hawkinson. You have your wide receivers as in Justin Jefferson, the best receiver, and Jordan Addison, but you also have Naylor, right? And so on and so forth. I do believe this running game for the Vikings isn't as strong as I would want it to be, but it's not the weakest. In the NFL, there are struggles to be, pointed out about the running game, but, with that being said, the defense of the Vikings also help compensate for, probably the lack of a running game, but any deficiencies that the offense might have. I mean, you've seen their last game, they're forcing 5 turnovers to turning the ball over 0 times. Obviously you'll hope that the offense turns the ball over 0 times every game, but like giving that even a 1 to 2, 3 turnover differentials to the Vikings, and then that's still a good takeaway. And I'm not trying to be ultra critical. I'm just saying that you do have. I think that is part of the reason why J.J. McCarthy was able to win that first game, and this is why I do bring up his stats. So now that we do have a little bit more of an experienced quarterback, I do believe we will have a better record. I believe. I still am evaluating Carson Wentz as his fit with the Vikings in particularly. So going into his second game, we're going to see how he performs. Sorry about that. Max Brosmer, and I also just wanted to point it out just to drive home those points that I made. I mean, total college games right there. Summary, he played 120 college games, right? And he won a total of 82 and lost a total of 38, right? He has quite literally won 75% of his games, 40, 80, 120, he won over 60, or not 40, he won over 66% of his games, 40, 80, 120, yeah. And so this is and then he went 4-2 with the Minnesota Gophers. So Kevin O'Connell does have a really good quarterback room. You can see that in my last video about the quarterback heaven. I was talking about Carson Wentz, Max Brosman, J.J. McCarthy. This is why I do think the Vikings will be good going until the next week's game. Carson Wentz last game, he had 70% passer completion, 173 yards through the air, and 2 passing touchdowns. That was a pretty good game, and just speaking more about those previous years, like with the Chiefs and with the Rams, those were singular games. So, a lot of his win-loss record, you have to really do a lot of bit of history and research, right? And this is some more of his win-loss record. His 2022 with the Commanders is when he had a few decent game stretch playing with the Commanders. He had a decent year with the Colts. I mean, his Eagles last year, before the year he got traded, was a pretty bad year. But before that, in 2019, he did 27-7, 21-7, which is all right. Because he had a 69.6 passer completion rating in 2018. 2017 was a good season. And really looking at it, he didn't have too much of a bad career. I know that you can't see the games won and lost, but just even looking at the stats, I do think that can tell apart the story, because these aren't exactly the same teams. But, to have a 33-7 season is pretty good in itself. He had 2 27-7 seasons, even though in those particular years that his PR rating, or passer efficiency, PER rating wasn't truly good. But in 2018, he did have basically sub 70 passer rating at 21-7. Or I should say completion rating. I'm so sorry. He has a 69 completion rating and passer rating at, was it 2017 or 2018? 102, which was his highest passer rating. Besides the single game with the Vikings, don't really matter. But also just having 2 coordinators, right? Just like this. And Brian and Kevin, these are some of the best coaches in the league, best coordinators. This is a well-run organization all around. So just to have a great organization, great coaches, and to have some security in some positions that you have, and the talent that you guys do have, I do see this being a really good season. Also, I'd see them winning the next game. And seeing the Vikings probably doing better than maybe what they did last year in the postseason. And so we all gotta wait to see about that. Also, just looking at Sam Darnold and his career, right? And this does inspire me to do a Sam Darnold video that I am going to come out talking about Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks. But Sam Darnold with the Jets 2018 had 17-15, 19-13. Obviously not good years. And just really bad pass rating and completion. I mean, all culminated in 2020 when he had a 9-11 season before going to the Panthers, where he had another 9-13 season and a 7-3 season. Then he had a pretty okay backup time behind Brock Purdy. Went 2-1 before he went to the Vikings and had his 35-12 season. Now, I just also bring this up because you don't particularly need to have a golden career before the NFL or even during your time in the NFL, like with Carson Wentz. But if you could take players, right, and put them in Kevin O'Connell and for his system and the Vikings organization, I do believe that if you take a talented quarterback, a proper talent, right? And I say proper talent as in a talent in a quarterback that is universal, right? That can be translated. We all see like the Lamars and the Patricks and the Josh Allens and so more, like even Tua, and I know Tua gets a lot of hate, but like looking at some of these quarterbacks, they have a lot of like special abilities and talents, and you're like, wow, how can I recreate that? Well, the thing is that these are once in a generation talents, right? But if there's certain skill sets that like what is intangibles about quarterbacks, that if you can spot those and put them on a great winning organization and team, it makes all the difference, right? And I do believe that is a case study with Sam Darnold. I also believe Carson Wentz will have a good season this year, right? But I do appreciate you guys. Know what you guys think about the Minnesota Vikings, and do you think they're going to be a good team this year? I really do think they're going to be a good team. But without further ado, thank you for watching this video, and you guys have a great day.